All right, let's run it.
All right, so again, welcome back, everyone. Technical difficulties. There's a lot of craziness happening. We just got a guest showing up. We'll be with you very shortly. Thank you so much for coming. Can't wait to touch base. What we brought you here for is to remind one of our concepts that we have been talking about in the past few months, and it is CPTED, the concept of placemaking, using your given environment to literally breathe life, transition, put energy back into a community. So not only that it benefits the immediate area, but it's like a ripple in the pond. It like generates wealth and growth throughout the surrounding areas. And
Absolutely.
So what we're doing here at Sokoto House is just one example of it, but that is the building itself. And that's what you guys have all been able to see so far, is the transformation that we've done in the building, where we've been able to have the classes, getting the coffee shop area set up, the computers in here, having the completely free market. Thus far, that's all we've been able to show you. But the last few weeks, our volunteers and our community members collectively have stepped up, and our outside space has undergone an insane transformation. And that's what we want to talk to you about tonight. Go a little further into detail about CPTED and placemaking and why it matters, but then also touch base and let our friends and families and community members know what exactly has happened out there.
Exactly.
So would you like to let us know what's going on?
Yeah, so just real quick again, as you guys know, we launched a comprehensive, Cape Fear's comprehensive violence prevention strategy, community violence prevention strategy. Most people are going to tell you, oh, that's a whole lot. Most people are going to tell you, that sounds good, but how are you going to do it? Mm-hmm. And the reality is we're already doing it. And the bigger reality is that we're going to do it whether individuals are confident that we're going to do it or not, because we don't have any other options. We understand that the problems in our community are like a shed that collapses, an avalanche that's collapsing on us on multiple different points, right? So it's social, it's economic, it's political, it's related to clinics and health access, it's related to access to quality food, it's related to how we treat each other, it's related to how the system treats us. It's comprehensive. So our perspective from a community point of view is that we need a response that's comprehensive. Yep. So when it comes to dealing with violence, interpersonal as well as structural, we're trying to hit it at every point. And one of the themes around that is looking at the built environment and then looking at the actual human environment. And how do you merge the two to allow them to actually manifest optimum outcomes within the actual lives of human beings, right? So again, Sokoto House being, like many places in our city, a dormant asset, a particular place where maybe an owner had it, they're absentee owner, they live in another city, they're not doing anything with the property, or they own the property, but they don't have the finances to do anything right now with it. Well, we was given access to this space. This was literally beat down building. Next door was nothing but trees and brush and needles and, alcohol bottles. And in a dormant environment, human beings came in and animated it, brought life to it, right? And we was given access to do that, and the result of that is what you've been seeing happening. And literally, if you keep paying attention, you will notice each time you turn around, you have another human being coming in with raw assets, heart, mind, time, and energy, and they're breathing life into this environment, right? And our goal is not to elevate Sokoto House like it's this special place. Like, we're saying that Sokoto House means nothing if we can't inspire other people to take dormant assets and do the same thing. If we can't tell people in positions of leadership, administrative leadership, executive leadership, that if you really cared and take some of your revenues you have, man, and start putting it back into the community and let the people who's doing the work in the community help you do your job, which is to actually help them out of their state of crisis. So CPTED is that built environment piece, right? We like to call it placemaking. And we're going to share with you here, Vance, in a moment about some of the things we've been already doing with our own time and energy, right? Volunteer time and energy, right, for the sake of the Most High and the people already here on site. And then we're going to introduce you to some exciting news, how another human being heard about what we was doing and came and brought their genius to the table, brought their resources to the table, and is trying to help us as a community do something which I believe, and I think all of us believe, is super amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's a brand new partnership.
I'm going to hand it to Vance, and he's going to talk about...
Just briefly, what is CPTED? That, like, you just said CPTED.
So CPTED...
People might not know what that is.
So, as you guys know, we mentioned it before, but I'll say it again. Out of the 5 programs that we're executing within our actual comprehensive strategy, 4 of them are evidence-based strategies. What that means is that hundreds of thousands of dollars from high-level institutions, research institutions, have already proven and shown that these particular strategies work and have the ability to have impact in communities that's positive, right? So CPTED originally has its origins inside the actual Justice Department. It's crime prevention through environmental design. Mayor Giuliano, Giuliano, right? Out of New York. It's called the broken window theory. If you fix a broken window, if you add some lighting to an environment, people will feel more bought in and more sold as far as feeling like the environment is something that they care about, and they'll begin to care about it, right? And also you'll be able to create an environment that inhibits or prevents people from participating in criminal activity, like adding lights, opening up your window blinds, cutting brushes, beneath the in front of your house. Say, for instance, if somebody wants to attack you, if you have your brushes low, they can hide their feet and their legs. But if you cut it, high enough, when you're walking up, you can actually see their legs hiding behind them. That's looking at the built environment in order to prevent crime. Now, that's legitimate, right? Public health entities, the CDC, identified that as something they felt like can be a preventive instrument, right, to preventing crime. Well, when they did that, there was multiple different states across the United States of America that began to say, you know what, there's another language that describes what we're really talking about. So instead of CPTED, crime prevention through environmental design, the language that's being used now and that we definitely want to use is called placemaking, right? Taking your place, your physical space, and creating this opportunity, right, where community members not only can feel like this is their community, but then they actually feel like they want to come and they want to interact and they want to connect with each other. So it builds community cohesion.
They want to make it their place.
They want to make it their place, right? And they want to see what's happening there, happening in their environments. Right, so what they see happening here at 1219 Dawson Street, they can make it happen in Hillcrest, in a particular little small area, right, where people can feel safe. So again, to answer the Brother Vance question, because I appreciate you saying that, crime prevention through environmental design, CPTED, we refer to it as, and we're hoping that we can encourage others to refer to it as, placemaking, right, enhancing the built environment so that it then enhances the quality of human life. So Vance is going to share with you some updates, some things we've been doing here, locally, not locally, but here at Sokoto House. Some amazing things we think is actually worthy of notification, and he want to notify y'all what's going on. He's been working hard with it, so that's definitely his lane. That's his baby. He's kind of bullying that through, right? You know what I'm saying? So,
but I think that without our volunteers, none of this would be possible. Our volunteers were vital as far as moving things along. Some of our community members, they stop by, those that live in the neighborhood, and they say every week, man, it's something different. It's just something different. But it's not one person doing that. It's a team of people with their passion, with a shared vision, putting their hands in the dirt, nailing things, making things happen. So it's a community effort. And an older gentleman came by. He was about 65 years old. He said he lived in this community all of his life. And he said he walked past this building. He said so many times, he said to see this shows promise, shows that this community can be better than what's presently in their environment. And he said he appreciated the brothers and the sisters, taking on this project. So it's bigger than us. This is a community effort. But what we did
garden
establish is a garden. But we moved it past just a garden, and we got it licensed as a farm. So we are a USDA farm.
Shamsamani farm, baby.
And we're
going to have chickens.
We're the only USDA farm in this area, which is a great thing, which is a benefit. At first, it was just beds. That's really it. But we thought about creating something that could sustain all seasons, and we can grow things that's out of season. So we built a 15 by 25, 15 foot by 25 foot greenhouse with all the ventilation and all of the bells and whistles. And it's supposed to be used not as necessarily economics, but an educational piece.
Yes,
the plan is to extend this past just Sokoto House or Shashamani Farms The plan is to extend this into our communities where
Yep.
people can see it and we can educate them about how you can grow small little hoop houses, how you can grow beds in your backyard,
Yep.
how you
Urban
can,
gardening.
connect with your family members and say, within our family, we need a greenhouse so we can sustain ourselves and feed ourselves. So this is not necessarily just an economics piece, but more of an educational piece, but also for our children. Our children need to see and get connected to the earth, get connected to nature. So
Amen.
this is a way to connect our people, and also it's healing
Yep.
in gardening. It's
It is.
healing
Very
in,
therapeutic.
in
Yep.
farming. So this is the perfect healing, I believe, healing tool, and just a tool, right? That we can use to communicate with our people, to heal our people through trauma, to have conversations, and also to respect and connect with nature.
Yeah.
And this is just a starting point. This is not, you will see this grow past what you see presently. It's a whole plan that we have for this this farm in this area. So
Just for the point, man, so Shamsamani, so everything you're going to notice, we getting ready to kind of like launch this little seasonal campaign of a mural, which we're telling you guys about here real soon, which is going to be some health promotion being smack dab in the face of anybody that smashes through that coming over that bridge into Wilmington. They're going to get a nice little periodic message, right? So what you're going to realize is that the type of minds we're trying to cultivate amongst ourselves is that we understand that naming things, we understand that when you name something, you define something. When you define something, you're literally attempting to, or you're doing the act of governing, right? When I name something, I govern. Whether I want to recognize it or not, that's what I'm doing, right? So when we name something, Shamsamani, you should look it up, right? This is actually the great Ethiopian king, Haile Selassie, man, after he was able to take back the lands of Ethiopia, being the only literally third world nation in the world outside of the Ottoman Empire, before it decided to decline and make some bad decisions and decline. It was literally Haile Selassie of Ethiopia is the last literal king or ruler that didn't have the boot of Europe on his neck, right? And it was able to actually politic inside of World War II, at the tables of the League of Nations, and convince Britain and France that what happened to them could potentially happen to French and to the Britons, and eventually that did happen, right? So after World War II, he returned back to Ethiopia, and because Europe had kind of beat themselves up a little bit, a lot of their actual colonial colonies had begun to seek independence, right? You kind of literally had this uprising of people seeking independence around the world. Haile Selassie, being a main resort of that, dedicated 500 acres of land to the Pan-African people throughout the actual world. Yeah. Whether you was in Europe, whether you was in America, whether you was in Central America, wherever you was at, if you was a part of the actual diaspora, right, and you was African, he was saying, man, listen, I understand that you was taken from your home, right? You have a home here, and there's 500 acres of land made available to you, right? So this is principle. This is more of a concept, right, of you can say that you care, right? And you can say that you're aware of the actual situation and you want to do something about it. It's completely different from actually doing. Yeah. It's completely different from saying, man, I'm going to put some skin in the game, and here, this is for you, right? And that's kind of the spirit that we're hoping to bring, to this space is we don't want to just tell the people we love them, right? We want to show them.
This is for you.
Yeah, this is for you. Right now we ain't getting paid, man. Nobody here getting paid, man. This building, the owner of this building, other than a little bit of research we put back into him, he's letting us be here for a little bit, man. We owe money. Don't get me wrong. We got to pay something, but he ain't profiting off of us being here, right?
But also,
so Shamsamani again.
Yeah, it was a place of refuge too.
Yeah.
It was a place of refuge, and if you look at the personalities that's here, the groups, the people, it's a place of healing, but it's also a place of refuge too.
Definitely.
And building.
This is that safe space.
So let's get in and get at it, man. Yeah. Sister Lily, so just for a record, she may not tell you this, but we're going to tell you. I'm always into making sure people know. This particular project right here, the work and the hard work of Vance on the ground, making sure this greenhouse, making sure certain activities outside get done, was what made people be very visible when it comes to driving by and seeing things happen, right? But behind the scene, a lot of the networking, right? We all have our parts, right? But this particular piece right here, the networking is actually birthed from Lily's Connect, man. So as y'all hear this, just know, you know what I'm saying, energy be noted. You know, this is the sister's piece right here, you know what I'm saying, bringing people to the table. So, and we want to honor that.
I'm very fortunate to have a plethora array of different friends and associates in Wilmington. Shout out to Basta for early on in the protest, standing up beside and supporting a lot of my efforts and probably talking me off some of my crazy ideas. But one thing he did do was get me started in a very influential email chain where I met a lot of individuals who were very like-minded but wanted to find ways to get involved and literally were asking what is the best way to do it. From that connect, I met Miss Sherry Chisholm, who is in charge of Joni Appleseed, which is a nonprofit who does a lot of herbs and agricultures and planning of those spaces, like literal agricultural planning. She has introduced us to a very good colleague of hers, Kiana Graham, who is associated with UNCW as well, and they came up with this absolute amazing investment in Sokoto House, which would literally transform our ability to help the community and make a lasting impact. We're going to show you the project in detail. It's also going to be listed on our website, of course.
You might have to hit this like, though.
But again,
quick,
thank
and
you
then you can
so
talk
very
about it.
much for all of the introductions. You guys go ahead and look at the camera or look at the screen behind
So
me.
what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna show you just so you can get a really sense of what we're talking about, and we're gonna let Lily come back in and give you some more context and details around, you know, just the personalities. She mentioned their names and whatnot. We want to say their name again, and then what our ask is. But if we can hit this light, I think this light's underneath the, because I can't really see it if I'm looking at it right now on my phone.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
Yeah, just turn the front light off.
Just turn this front light off, and I think we might be able to get a better look at it.
It's just the contrast. It's the bright screen.
And the white.
Yeah.
Go to the projects and see. There we go. Okay.
But we'll just play it.
Yeah, play it and see what we got.
I don't hear the birds.
So we just walk it through. This is
Those are fruit trees
fruit trees. Yep.
along. It'll be like our barrier from the other property that's next door. It's our garden area.
So that's kind of already somewhat in place.
Yeah. Just be upgraded a little bit. That's our
The
greenhouse.
greenhouse. It's kind of like just a little berry patch, a little place to hang out and vibe a little bit.
Yeah.
That back area, that's going to be our classroom for outdoor activities.
Yeah.
That's already set in place. And then you got the stage, man. You know what I'm saying?
That makes me happy.
Imagine yourself there,
Yeah.
right? Then you got the actual screen, and we did the Fred Hampton conversation last night with the fire going on.
Yeah.
No.
So that space right there is going to be for that. And then you got the front space, man. You know what I'm saying? Come and have some Sokoto House coffee. Come vibe out. Politic with us.
And notice everywhere you see fruit trees. Fruit
Everything is
trees.
sustainable. You
Yeah.
can literally just pick it and eat it.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I just want to touch base on the names and the contacts that were made. Nicholas Basta is my professor from over at UNCW in the theater program. Remained friends and stayed in contact with them. Followed each other's journeys as you do students, and he became really invested in the protest and got me connected on a really good email chain where I met new friendships and partnerships here in the community. And Joni Appleseed, Miss Sherry Chisholm, her nonprofit, Joni Appleseed, stepped up, and they do a lot of different seedlings and agricultural and environmental space planning. So it literally was right along the line of what CPTED was, but unknowingly the same concept, unknowingly the exact same mission. So it was only natural that we would be able to reach out and link up with each other. And her and her husband stepped up really early on and came with dirt and deliveries and sketches almost immediately. So.
Yes.
That was a beautiful
What's the name
connection.
that actually did the virtual tour?
Kiana Graham.
Kiana Graham.
Yeah, Kiana Graham.
A-N-T.
Yes.
Yeah.
Came in from A&T, says
You know,
beautiful.
something like this, and the actual diagram that they developed and the time and energy that they put into crafting language. Obviously, they use a lot of our language. They sat
They
with
had a lot
us.
of meetings with us.
Yeah,
and
they
stuff.
had meetings with us.
They actually found out what was going on, so it was like an investment they took themselves.
Yeah, they came in. She came in. You know, keep in mind she owns her own business. She has a family to take care of. Came in, sat with us, spent a significant amount of time to make sure that whatever language was being used was language that we was comfortable with.
Yeah.
And then they went back, and I'm gonna tell you, between the crafting of a narrative, right, which maybe not as much because the narrative is there, but the development of the actual blueprint and the actual assembling of this particular virtual tour is a good $6,000 to $7,000 project.
Oh, easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
You're talking about the actual blueprint as a high level, you know what I'm saying, architectural design or vision of what it is they want here. They have all the dimensions set up. And then on top of that, so, you know, we just giving props to her because it's important. You know what I'm saying? We believe that the Most High says you really ain't been grateful to him if you're not grateful to his creation, right? So we always like to identify the people who's doing the work. Because one of the problems with the systems is they like parasites, man. They'll take your ideas and they'll take your energy, man, and they'll go take credit for it. We can't be like the same individuals we trying to actually help change. That behavior can't be how we behave, right? So we give honor to the people that's actually put in work. She came, she put her time and energy. They developed this, and then she's connecting this particular effort to her network of funders.
Yes.
Right? She's presenting this in front of people that is willing to help her see her dream and see her vision, and she's saying, this is one of the visions that I want to see manifest. And they're trying to fund this. What we're calling you to, if you support Sokoto House, if you feel like you support any of the individuals individually or collectively, if you support the idea of having a space where you can have community dialogues, community screenings, right, where people can come out and just sit down and be safe, right, having a moment. Maybe they had some type of crisis going on in their life, right? And if they pop up over here and they're going through something, they're going to be able to go through what they're going through comfortably and safely.
Yeah.
We may check in and find out what's going on with them, but once we see, okay, man,
They'll
do
have
your
a-
thing.
But like you said, they'll have a safe space. They'll have a haven, like somewhere where you come, you can actually just unwind and relax. Like that's what this is. It's a collective hub for, yes, shared ideas and shared exchange, but also just shared healing. Like
Absolutely.
it has to start. Any growth has to start from being able to heal. And not everyone can heal at home. Not everyone can heal at work. Not everyone has that like community plug where they can go and feel safe. But that's what Sokoto House has become and can be.
Feel safe, and one of the things we understand about trauma before we give you our ask, we're going to need your help, is that in any typical scenario of any form of trauma or abuse, the first thing that has to be done is to remove that person from the actual harm's way.
Yep.
Right? And as they're healing, you also, if you know that they may return back to that environment, you have to teach them how to actually support themselves and not being re-abused. Right? We're not just into teaching you or teaching us, or I'm not into teaching anybody I'm around how to actually absorb abuse, right? Or how to actually be someone that can actually say that I've snapped back from abuse, right? I have this capacity to endure. I don't give a damn about enduring, man. Like, I want to stop the hurt. I want to stop people from abusing you and abusing us. That's the bottom line, right? So what we need from you guys, y'all seen some of the stuff we've been doing. Y'all seen the fact that another community member has come in, put their genius on the line, has actually put their time on the line, and has even put their resources on the line, is trying to help us do what we're doing here. And what we're doing here, we're hoping that it becomes something that happens in multiple places, right? But in order for it to be possible, if you support us, we need you to do three things. We need you, one, to actually share this video. Not this video. If not this video, then after this video, we'll be sharing a post. That's going to be a simple narrative outlining names, language, the blueprint, all the details to the plan is going to be included on this post, right? I ask you to share that with the community. Share that with your families and friends. The second thing you can do is go to the website and direct people to the website where that information will be available to them, right? Where that information will be available to them. The purpose of asking you to share the Facebook message and Instagram and direct people to the website is also asking you to give whatever you can. The goal is $55,000 to make this happen. $55,000 to make it happen. The money is being, and this is the reason why we had this conversation with you. We got 501c3s here, right? So we can be asking you to donate to us.
Yes.
The donation is actually going to Johnny Appleseed.
Joni Appleseed.
Joni, excuse me. Sorry.
It's okay.
Joni Appleseed, right? So when you see that, be comfortable donating, because it's being stated very clear that all proceeds is going through the going to the Sokoto House for this particular project here, right? And again, what we're hoping that the community realizes is that when we create spaces, safe spaces where communities can gather, and communities feel like it's their own, or it belongs to them, and they feel like they can grow and have a relationship with it like it belongs to them, this becomes the first step towards some sense of actual autonomy or independence in your space, right? If you feel like for generations and generations you've inherited the state of being subjugated, right? And you feel like at any given time, what you've been having for 2, 3, 4 decades, people can just come in and take it from you, which we've been seeing happening in this city with the 2020 plan that manifested itself completely in the last 5 years, where they literally done gutted out the whole north side, right? And they're still gutting out the north side. There's activities happening up over there. There's programs being pushed over there. There's actual collective efforts being made to build the north side. Every last effort over there is building the north side is about to gut that community out, and they're going to be removed from there, the ones that's been there for the past 20, 30 years, right?
No plan to go.
And that's and that hurts, right? That hurts, right? So typically medicine, right, can usually be found right there next to the actual ailment, right? So if the harm and the hurt is coming from something being snatched away from you, then we have to figure out ways to actually grab you a hold of something that you feel like is yours. Something you feel like you can take ownership in. Something where you can come and you can talk about things and not be afraid about what the consequences is of talking about it. Where you can hold people accountable for things that you're doing, or go to a group of individuals that if something is really going on, you feel like I can tell them and they're going to say something. And ain't no actual strings being pulled that's going to stop them from saying something, right? If you don't have that, then you're not safe. If you don't have that, you haven't been removed to some degree from the harm. And all we're saying is we want to create a space that offers some degree of that, while at the same time being able to actually permeate through the actual city and hopefully have more places like that, right? That's all we're saying, and we need your help. Y'all been seeing what we've been doing. Again, run the video again one more time for them so they can see it.
And while you guys are looking at the video, I'll just remind, like what he reiterated, like definitely share the video, share the website, but also just have a conversation. Just start the inquiry. Find out what your friends, your families, your banks, your church members might or might not know about it. Have that initial intrigue, that dialogue. If people have questions, direct them to us. Direct them to the website. Tell them to literally come over here and talk to us. Yes, COVID is still a thing. We practice safe precautions. We have masks. We can do the social distancing. Outside is beautiful. We can show you the ground so you'll know what you're investing in. I have absolutely no problem talking to anybody. You can send them my way. I will show up. We can sit down. I can talk to them. But this is something worth buying into for all of communities. This can benefit everybody.
That stage is going to be popping. So that area right there where that sign is at that says Wilmington on Fire sign, that's going to be a screen that's going to come up and come down. Because really right there, that's where you're going to have our actual seasonal mural being produced. We'll talk about that. That's a whole other project. That's a health promotion campaign and the healing campaign. That's another, I have ownership of this, right? I have a voice type thing. So that sign right there won't be a stationary screen. It's going to be something that comes up and comes down, because that's where we're going to have a whole lot of other activity going on with messaging and promoting health and well-being and community ownership and buy-in. So pray about that for us as well, too. We're trying to make that happen. If it goes down, it's going to be a beautiful thing. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we came this time around just to kind of show you guys a very specific project. It's one of the 5 strategies that we have within our comprehensive violence prevention strategy initiative. It's a community-based initiative, right? And it is primarily focusing on addressing multiple forms of violence: interpersonal violence, us hurting each other, and structural violence, systems and policies that perpetuate things like poverty, which Gandhi and I believe as Martin Luther King says, poverty is the worst form of violence, right? So this is just one. And we're hoping we can actually get it off the ground. Sokoto House still stand where we stand and whatnot. You know, we all still scrambling to pay our bills, man. We're not making any money off this right now. You know what I'm saying? And we don't plan to. Even when the money come, Our goal is to make sure we compensate it for our little bit of time being here and then everything being generated inside the actual community. And how you know that's possible is that we've been doing this for about 2 years straight, a year and a half collectively, a year collectively, and we none of us actually made any money off of this, man. So if that's not some proof that it's not about the money that's driving us, I don't know what else is.
This is literally what we love to do. Like, I can't think of anything else.
You know, but our family's gonna eat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, most definitely.
But that's not the objective and the priority, man. Thank you, guys. Any last thoughts? You know, before we head out of here.
No.
No, we have community service this weekend, though, and the weather's going to be nice. So, see you Saturday and Sunday.
Community service. Anything else going on? Oh, we taking all challenges. We got a little ping pong table, a little dart ball, little darts over here, the foosball, right? Chess, all that stuff is in place. We taking all challenges as well too. Vance is.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Peace.